Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Barb Meets World, and we are back to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10, Episode 13, Altitude with Attitude. Before we get into all that though, y'all, please like the video for me because it helps me and my channel in terms of that algorithm, helps me attract new subscribers such as yourselves. Also, if you're not a current subscriber, hit the subscription button. Comment down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to share me with all of your people. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. And also be sure to follow me on all of my socials. Scrolling below. Yep. And here we are. Okay, y'all. This episode, do I want to call it a filler? It didn't give me that much. It really didn't. Yeah, it didn't really give me that much at all. But obviously, you know, I'm going to come down here and talk to you guys about it anyway. What I will say is, I feel like a lot of people were going up for Angel and saying like, oh, yes, Angel, she's finally doing what needs to be done. Go, girl, da, 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 da. I don't know if I share in that sentiment. I'll get more specific here in a minute, but it wasn't doing enough for me. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So it's so cringy. Again, not to get too into the present day of it all, but it is really cringy for me to see Wendy doing anything serious, doing anything, you know, Wendy's seasons prior would be doing type it. Y'all know what I'm putting down. Because of obviously what's going on with her on the outside. It makes me cringe / it makes me sad because I'm just like, is this the last time she's gonna be able to do these types of things and be a respected person and be viewed as a respected person in the community? Anyway, Stacey learns that Arabella is ambidextrous. Kay also had a billboard reveal. Greg, yeah, let me just pause here and say, Greg, what is wrong with him? Was he drunk? Like the way that I get it. Like everybody might not be super comfortable in front of the camera, especially after receiving the backlash that they've received in the past. I get it, but he was like, oh yeah, I'm proud of you, and you know, how you like. It was just very odd. Her mother was there looking amazing as usual, but Greg, I was just like, I had to rewind that twice because I was just so confused as to why he was coming off the way he was. I don't know. Anyway, then we have a scene with Tia and her sister who's still in town. She brings her sister and her twins to see her dad's old house without sounding heartless, without sounding mean, what have you, y'all. This scene didn't give me like that much. I'm glad though that she was able to do that. Obviously it meant a lot to her, but I don't have that much to say on it, as much as I do think that was very kind of those people to open up their home to her coming in and doing that. I mean, I've heard of people being able to visit their old homes before too. If I was in those people's shoes and somebody had reached out and asked me that, I wouldn't have an issue with it. How did she find their email? Am I being obtuse, or I don't know? I'm just curious about that. I thought that was cool though. Definitely something I would have done. It's not going to hurt me none. It ain't no skin off my back to allow you the opportunity to come in and do something that means something to you. I think that was cool. I did think that it was symbolic seeing that the homeowner's calendar was turned to the day of her father's birthday, which I'm like, so does that mean that it was June 11th when they were there then? Or I don't know. I was confused, but whatever. Good on her. The only critique I have is when they redid the photo, her and her kids, and had her sister take it. I do wish that she would have taken like have taken that photo with her children or taken one with her sister first, especially because she is trying to, you know, make up for lost time, so to speak. She is trying to get a closer relationship going between them two. And maybe that happened off camera. So I could be totally wrong, but I'm like, I do hope it happened off camera. That's pretty much the only thing that I really noticed. Anyway, Ashley, Wendy, Gizelle, they meet up. Wendy says that the fight with her mom is weighing heavily on her still, but she's not really someone to open up about those types of things involving her mother to just anyone. And I fully understand that. And I would almost look at you crazy than I do now if you did do that. So I do feel like she still has a little bit of sense about herself. And what I mean by that is, y'all, I don't want the ladies to continue to harp on old beef. I do feel like this is the type of show that you guys should be able to get past things because it makes it more enjoyable. We do not want to see a cast divided like we have for seasons and seasons and seasons on this particular franchise, for one. But it is kind of annoying and kind of just like a little much sometimes when we see Wendy not only are you moving past what happened, cool, got it, you guys talked about it, that's cool, water under the bridge, but it's the way that like she cozies up to the Giselle's and even Ashley's, which is funny because even in present day, y'all aren't even cool right now because when you're when these charges and when all this stuff popped off into the news, Ashley was the first person calling you was basically saying scam likely, like so it's just funny that you just fall so in line with now doing the same things with them that you once were the recipient of. I feel like there's ways that you could play it to show like I'm not still on old stuff, but I'm also not trying to be a mean girl, if that makes sense, y'all. I don't know. She calls Angel a wet blanket. I wasn't surprised by that because even though she has her reasons and she knows what her reasons are, and I'm never telling anybody how to feel, has Angel been given wet blankets since she's been on the show? She has. She has, y'all. That's not a lie. But they do receive an invitation from Monique to her sip and read for her book. And I loved how they also thought that their family event or whatever potluck thing was a success. And I'm like, you guys just must not have been to too many successful events because that is not something I personally would call a success, but go off. Moving right along. Angel calls her sister Ingrid as she's standing in the driveway to the rental. I'm like, if you don't get off on people's property, girl. But she tells them how she's going to be hosting the ladies at her Colorado home, aka her sacred space, and she has some things set up in terms of like a mezcal tasting, a private dinner, etc. She also said that Bobby's livid about the situation, which I'm like, okay, at least somebody is, because I know I would be pissed if dates got mixed up or whatever happened. I would be irritated to have to now move all the way back to Colorado or whatever. But I'm still not understanding why they just didn't rent another place in the area. I feel like that makes so much more sense than to just move all the way back. Like there's absolutely nowhere else that you could rent for long term or at least another month or what, I don't know, whatever. Ashley has a 6 to 60 party in celebration for Dean, Uncle Lump, her aunt, her uncle, the whole family comes through, which is loads different than what we've seen her engage in under her roof in the past, under Michael's roof, I should say, right? Okay. And that's because we know that her family, it wasn't always a one big happy family type situation with them. So she feels nice being at a place now where she's able to host them up under her roof. And Sheila's partner, aka John, because we found out his name is John, she says that he's in treatment. He's going to get treatment. They talked about it a couple days ago. She's bringing it up again now, like to say that that's where they're at. She's feeling real good. And that's just where she's at with it. The main thing I want to pick up with in this scene, though, is I feel like Uncle Lump low-key. He was keeping it cute for the camera, but he probably don't care. He really don't. He'd be the only person I feel like in this situation that has a little bit of sense about him. And I say that because I don't think we've ever met Sheila's mother, their mother, Ashley's grandmother before, but we kind of got a glimpse into how she thinks, and by proxy, how Sheila has been probably conditioned to think, to be in the world. And I say that because her mother lets it be known that she's always been fond of John. He's always been fine with her and her book. Like, he's cool. And I feel like that's probably why Sheila has allowed this to go on and to entertain this for so long, because your mother seems to not be too, I hate to talk about anybody's mom, and I'm not, but I'm just basing this off of what she showed us in that moment by saying that, you know, I don't know if you really trust her judgment, so you probably can't trust. So obviously, you probably wouldn't be able to trust your own judgment, which then only didn't trickle down to freaking Ashley too. So, oh my God, hopefully Dean and Dylan got some better judgment about them. I'm just keeping it real. And I can't stand Ashley 99.9999999% of the time, y'all. But in this moment, when she said, like, oh yeah, well, you didn't have to live with him or whatever, I was like, thank you for saying that, because a lot of times people can say things and be just so ignorant to what the situation really is, because they're either on the outside looking in, or they're just looking at it through rose-colored glasses. And I feel like that is kind of what we were getting in this scene. Moving on. Then we move on to the day of Monique's love letter event, or whatever it was called. And her family's there. I saw Raina and Jamie from Love and Marriage DC there. If you guys watched that show, the lady started filling in, and this is really filling in the fact that this is really an event for Monique's memoir. And Monique's hair was so freaking cute in this scene. So cute. Her mom is beautiful. And when she takes the mic, she starts reciting some of the love letters, and it seemed a bit monotonous. I think some of the ladies are kind of like over it. It was getting long-winded, but Stacey was like, you know, I love this event, but there's a lot of self. And I felt like that was so funny to me. But moving right along, what I didn't like about this event is that this next part about them. So we know season 5, the binder of it all. Monique, with a subtle nod to that, Monique had gifted all of the ladies binders as well that had tabs for everybody's name in the group in it, blast in the past. And she wanted them to, one, write how they view themselves or whatever, and then also write something about all the other ladies. And I'm like, not really, I wasn't too much in love with them doing this in front of everybody. I felt like it was kind of awkward to watch them do it in front of everybody. I feel like it should have just been something for just them. I don't know if that's how you guys felt, but I just felt like that was weird from the get-go. And I feel like Monique's true like colors really were showing in this scene. And by that, I mean, girl, we know that you're not really as healed as you want to seem to be. And I say that because, and don't get me wrong, y'all, I got potty humor, dark humor. Like I was in the Marine Corps. So the way that we joke and stuff, like it can be a lot sometimes. But what I'm never going to joke about is something that was a serious event that I played a part in going so left, or that somebody else was hurt, or that I say that I've grown from, learned from. That was a total just a total big no. Yeah, it's very weird to me. But Monique said to Stacey, because Stacey was like being reluctant to pass off the binder, because she made them shuffle them all around, and they were each going to read from another person's binder, whatever. And Stacey was there like, and Monique was like, what'd she say? The last time she had a table separating her from someone, it did not end well. And it's like, on one hand, like, you were trying to make a joke, ha ha, he. Again, I understand potty humor, I understand dark humor, whatever you want to say. But I feel like there's a fine line between that and saying something that only gives further support to the fact that you are not quite as healed. You are not as you can't say that and then have also shown no remorse and really lacked kind of accountability, I feel like, on all fronts when it comes to that situation. And I say that because she's recently obviously said that she doesn't feel the need to reach out and speak to Candace or anything like that. Like, the only stone that was left unturned in her healing journey was with Gizelle. And I just feel like that's all BS. And when you say that coupled with jokes like this, it really just is more confirmation that you're not as grounded and healed as you want to portray. Y'all get what I'm saying? Yeah. But anyway, I'm not even going to get into specifics about what each lady said, as much as wasn't surprised that Gizelle didn't say anything to Stacey on Stacey's page. She just left it blank. But at the end of the day, Stacey's proven to be somebody that is not ever going to be caught. She's never going to let them see her sweat. She's never going to let them get over on her. So the way that she flipped what Gizelle did and even what Ashley wrote in her favor, wasn't surprised about that. I don't think anybody said anything about it. I don't think we read what anybody said about Tia. It really didn't get too crazy until, well, actually, I'll say when Wendy called Kay fake, and she's spoken about this before. It was actually Stacey that asked, like, why did you say that or whatever? And Wendy said, because before they came back as a group, they were cool. Once they came back all together as a group, then Stacey had Kay had this big ass issue with Wendy all of a sudden. So it was giving fake. I did let out a slight chuckle, not gonna lie, when Kay was like, okay, well, at least my bags are real. Wasn't mad at that. I was like, okay, one point is finally on the board when it comes to Kay. Okay. She said better late than never. Okay. That made me laugh just a little bit. But Ashley and Angel get into it over what Ashley wrote about Angel. And I mean, I do understand how Angel's like, you're talking about, I'm not walking my truth, but why are you coming to my house? And I'm like, I get that. I get why she said that. I get why I wouldn't, you damn sure wouldn't come up to my house saying anything but sweet nothings about me. Like, that's definitely never going to happen. But at the same time, I was like, well, because I mean, it's a show, Angel or Ashley. I mean, multiple things can be true at the same time, like I always say, y'all. That's how I felt about that. I wasn't surprised, though, that Angel is at the point where she's fed up. And I do feel like what we saw in this episode with Angel was a lot more true to who she really is. But for me, I can say it now, I guess, that the way that Angel's now showing up, for me, it's like she's not showing out, but she's finally showing up, if that makes sense. She's not doing anything that's making my jaw just hit the floor and scream, give this lady a second season, as much as I'm like, oh, okay, finally, like you are actually reacting, you're actually speaking on things, I feel like, at a more appropriate time, rather than going home or speaking to Bobby or speaking to going over here and then coming back once we're 16 million miles down the road onto the next talk. On the next topic, I should say, not talk. She's had like all these delayed responses to things time after time, I feel like, on this season. But I think that she's finally at the point where she's fed up and now the ball is in her court. So she can, I feel like we'll really see, I hate to say it, like we'll finally get to see what she's really made of, but y'all know what I'm trying to say on these next couple episodes. I love how Gizelle was like, well, Ashley, this is my bestie and my rider, so she's not invited. I would like to not be invited as well. I'm like, no, Ashley's just your do girl. She's not your bestie. Robin is your bestie. We all know that. Ashley is just somebody you use to carry out your missions. Like, get out of here. But again, I just don't see, although, again, this is a show, we know that everybody's going everywhere and et cetera, I do find it kind of weird that Ashley and Gizelle, I hope they're not truly confused that Angel isn't really checking for them how she normally would if they would have came correct. I hope they're not really confused by that, for real. Because how don't you understand that a person will be upset, that a person will be over you if you're going around saying they were catfishing, going around saying that they were evicted, whoop-de-woo. Like, how could you possibly think that person would see it for you after all that? That's delusional. Just like Monique is delusional for thinking that maybe she doesn't know the depth of who was at odds in the group currently. Maybe she doesn't. I'll give her that. But we're not going to sit here and act like Gizelle. We're not going to sit here and act like Monique, you didn't think that something was going to get started. As you said in the scene, like, yeah, you might be healed, but the only part of you that, isn't healed, that you forever hope will never heal, is the shady part of you. Whatever could have possibly happened at this event would have just happened, because why would you think that this was a good exercise to have in front of all these people at your event? Like, you should have known that somebody was going to get into it. At least 2 people, 3 people was going to get into it. Get out of here. You're not new to this. You're not new to this. Goodbye. Side note, if you guys did watch Love and Marriage DC, I actually think that Arena would be really good on the show. I actually really liked her. And also, we know that Jamie's ready to be in front of the camera too at all times. I would actually really like to see them on this show. Bravo, if you guys are watching, NBC Universal, if you guys are watching, hit up the Tylers. Just saying. And Angel, and Ashley, like, you can sit here and act like you don't know why, or you can give this fake apology and stuff like that. But we all know that you're not truly sorry. And that's because even in this scene, even like you did this and then still are going on to continue this eviction trope for even in this episode later on. So you really can't take Ashley serious, y'all. And I am really sick of seeing her on my screen. Moving on to the last scene. Stacey calls Angel real quick. don't really have much to say about this except for the photo that was on Stacey's phone. I hate to say it, Angel, but it looked very edited anyway, or filtered. They all showing up at the airport. I feel like everybody looked like they was going to a different place. Wendy, why did you have that on? Anyway, Angel was already there. This is Monique's first girls trip in however many years. And when they all land, Angel had 3 trucks. She was going to be in the first truck driving Stacey and Wendy. And then in the other trucks was it Gizelle, Jassi, whatever. There were girls in the other 2 trucks. And right off the bat, Wendy's like, girl, why are only me and Stacey driving with you? And you dress like that, and we dress like this. It's giving, in so many words, she said that Angel's trying to like turn a new leaf with her or whatever now. And Wendy's over it. I can't really blame her for that, based on the fact that I might have my ways in which I don't really care too much for the way Wendy's been acting, ways she's been moving throughout this throughout this season, when it comes to certain things, certain situations, certain people. But I am fully behind her when I say that, Angel, the venom that you had that you were spewing towards Wendy should have been solely aimed at 1 or 2 other people, being somebody on this cast that has green eyes and somebody on this cast that has a big ass forehead. I feel like Wendy wouldn't feel so over it if at some point by now you would have pulled her to the side and either apologized for coming off like that, or just, again, never coming off like that from the beginning. Because as you've been told multiple times by multiple people, as the cameras have shown us multiple times from multiple angles, Wendy was never the person that was coming at you crazy. It was always Gizelle. It was always Ashley. It was always everybody. It was not Wendy. She didn't start that with you. She may have finished it. She may have added to it once it was started, once you proved to be somebody who was going to allow people to get away with calling you a catfish to begin with. Yeah, she might have been over it, and she might have been sprinkling fuel onto the fire at that point. But prior to that, Wendy wasn't doing more to you than the Ashleys and Giselles were. She wasn't. So you kind of shot yourself in the foot with that, I feel like, and I can't be mad at her for that. Anyway, we find out that they're not staying. They reach the house or whatever. We find out that they're not staying in Angel's house, which a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's that lady's house. You guys aren't owed that. If she don't want you in your house, that's not weird. Like, that's not an issue. I'm not saying it is. I totally understand that. And I don't feel like it's weird to, have a split situation. I feel like haven't we had that on other franchises and stuff like that, where some were staying over here, some were staying over here. Maybe the places were always closer than an hour. I feel like that is a little okay. But I don't feel like that was that weird. And I do believe that it was a space issue, because I did watch her home tour. I'll try to remember to put it in the description box or whatever, y'all. I did watch Angel's home tour, but her house is very beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel like it didn't give me like mega mansion, to the point that, like, this is a good amount of girls. This is a good amount of ladies. We have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we have 9 people. So that's best case scenario, 9 rooms. And she was living in that home. So I'm assuming at least 1 or 2 of those rooms are outfitted for children. So I could understand. I don't think that her house didn't give me that there was like 9 bedrooms. It didn't. So I can understand why she didn't have them all set up over there. But of course, Ashley and Gizelle, you guys only want to be over there so you could just talk shit about it. I do feel like that. So she saved herself. She saved herself by an argument by doing that. And I don't have an issue with her doing that. Kay was premedicating. She's like the sickly one in the group. I feel like she's like the one that's going to have the stomach issues, or she already did say she was allergic to cheese. I feel like she has a sensitive like digestive or immune system or whatever Kay does. Jassi had asked in the car though before what happened, did anything happen at Monique's event that she needs to be downloaded on, and of course Gizelle is like, oh yeah, Angel got evicted. It's just so corny at this point. Although I've had my issues with Angel this season, even if she did, like, who cares? Like, it's just so, I'm so over it. I feel like this is why we need to kind of start wrapping this season up, because we're never probably going to hear the truth on that, or the truth being, we're never actually going to get the proper receipts on it. It's turning into your word versus her word versus this. Who cares? Who really cares? I'm sick of hearing the word evicted at this point. I was surprised that Kay was quick to pipe up though and speak up for her friend though, because I do feel like there's been a couple of times this season, more than a couple of times, where I would have assumed she would have came to the defense of her friend, her good Judy of 20 plus years, a bit faster than she has. So I was actually shocked that she said something. I forgot to say this earlier, but at Monique's event, Angel, when she was explaining what all has gone left between her and Ashley and that whole thing, she did let it be known that Bobby wasn't too excited. Like, he didn't want to come to the family potluck event or whatever. I don't feel like that was weird. I feel like that's obviously then, now looking back on it, why he said that they'll get there when they get there. I didn't appreciate though Monique saying, oh, well, that's kind of, it was telling for her, or kind of made her feel like reminiscent of some of what she's gone through with Chris and being the main person and whoop-de-woo. I don't really think that was her. One, that wasn't her place to say, and 2, you can't really say that based off of this one little sliver of information. And 3, I just don't like how I'm never above, somebody opening, trying to bestow some type of quote unquote wisdom, or trying to, do something in good faith that will potentially save me some heartache, save me some stress, save me whatever. So she could be coming from a genuine place by saying that, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that Angel needs to receive it. That doesn't mean that that's exactly what happened or is happening, Monique. I don't like when people try to draw parallels between their situation and other people's situation, because that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes, yes, it might be. And again, that's why I say I can be open. This person over here could be open. I think it can actually do some good sometimes to be open to those types of conversations and to hearing that from people that have been in the same situations before, but that's not always the case. And I feel like just based off that one statement, you don't know if that's 100% the case right now. So Monique, you don't need to just be throwing that out there real quick like that and saying that, like, goodbye. The reason why this episode is called Altitude with Attitude is because, like, taking one shot there or taking one shot there is really like taking 2 shots somebody somewhere else or whatever, because of the altitude and stuff. So liquor goes a long way is what Angel has let the girls know. And the first person that was feeling that clearly was Kay. Because she looked, when I tell you, homegirl looked lost and confused and just mind fucked. And like, who are you people? Like, that's honestly what I thought she was about to say, the way that she was looking. Then she started crying. I was so confused. Like, girl, are you okay? Mama was gone, and she was going with the wind. Okay. Nevertheless, they being Angel divvies out the rooms, and she let Wendy and Stacey know that they were really gonna like their rooms. Everybody else maybe not so much, but them two in particular were really gonna like their rooms. And she also said that Tia and Kay would be staying back at her house with her. So of course the ladies are already kind of feeling some type of way. I did find it funny that Angel was like, oh, well, you know, I thought that you guys should be in the same, I put you guys together since you said that you weren't going to come without her or whatever. Because there's this room with 2 beds in it. That was funny. She played that well. I would have did the same thing at the end of the day. You cannot play on my top all season long and think that I'm not about to come back and do something to you when I can. Pause. Did you guys hear, going back to Kay being drunk or whatever, when she started talking about the trees and Stacey was like, is there no trees in Baltimore? Am I the only person that caught that? I feel like not enough people were saying that online. Oh my God. Stacey just keeps winning. She keeps winning with the comments, okay? But nonetheless, Gizelle, even though she says she's going to play it cute, play it nice or whatever, she starts to really feel, let it be known how she feels about stuff out in the open. Because tell me why Wendy had about 15 beds in her room or whatever. Good on her. She was happy with her room. Everybody's pretty much happy again, but Ashley and Gizelle, which I thought was hilarious. 2 OGs over here, mad as fuck. Anyway, Gizelle was like, I'm not in college. What the F is this? I don't know what broke girl you think I am, but I am not that girl. Angel does admit to it being shady. And Monique is like, oh yeah, it was the Ashley eviction situation, right? And she's like, yeah, like she got Ashley's like, or I think it was Gizelle was like, she got evicted. And as she's saying this, of course, Angel whips around and is like, what you talking about? You know what? Let's just get this all out in the open. And she has everybody sitting around and basically is like, we gonna either squash this right now or I'm shutting shit down. And it was a little corny. It was a little, again, little kind of late, I feel like, but I do feel like she's finally clocked in. She's finally giving us something to work with other than just allowing them to continue to play in her face. So we'll see how it transpires. We'll see if they back all the way down or if they keep coming. I don't know, but she wants to get to that bottom of that conversation before going to her home, before going onto her property. We need to get this all out in the open. And I do respect, as a homeowner, as a renter, as anybody, I could totally understand why you want to be sure of that, because it's clear her energy here is a lot more. I feel we're getting a lot more insight into who Angel truly is at her core, and how she shows up in these group dynamics. And again, just her being in Colorado in general, I feel like she's a lot more grounded, and we've already heard her say that, this property, this area is her safe space, is her peaceful place. So I can understand why she wants to get to the bottom of this, wants to squash it completely before allowing them into her safe space, into her bubble. I get it. And I have no issues with that. But we'll see. We'll see how it transpires, y'all. Nonetheless, let me know what you guys thought of this episode, what you thought of my commentary, and all things in between down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow me on my socials. Do not forget to hit the notification bell. Share me with all of your folks. If you're catching this on X, come on over here to YouTube. Become a subscriber. tune in, do all of the things, and I for sure will see you guys in the next one. Bye.